What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? Happy Tuesday.
Happy fucking Tuesday.
Hello, my darlings.
Hi.
Welcome to another exciting installment of Cultivation Conversation with special guest tonight, Fresh Coast Seedco. How are you, my friend? Welcome.
I'm excellent. Thank all of you for having me on. I'm flattered and feel very privileged to do this with you guys. So thank you.
Glad to have you on, man.
Thrilled to have you.
Absolutely. Yeah, been looking forward to it. So, yeah, well, what's up, guys? Howdy.
How the fuck are you?
Good, just maxing, relaxing in my purple robe and
See, we're robing it out. I got the black robe.
all right. I couldn't see it because of the lighting, but I guess we are robe bros tonight.
Yeah, you look like a fucking baller.
I guess people robed us the wrong way or something, you know?
You got them dad jokes, huh?
Like it.
Oh, baby. I got so many, plant children. I got dad jokes for days.
There you go.
There you go.
Well,
Plant children.
as in tradition, Captain, what the fuck you smoking on tonight?
Oh, so maybe you heard, maybe you didn't, the Your Average Grow podcast with Johnny and the Rev, doing a good job over there. I made a special appearance on the show over the weekend. Gave a little bit of a tangy Tibuguana sneak peek smoke report, because I know all you guys are still doing the grow along. I had a little head start, and I've been enjoying the hell out of watching all the plants coming along, and they look really great.
Yeah, man, some special shit out there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We can definitely talk about that. Might not be the episode to go on and on about it, but for sure, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a little preview here on what's going on in the tangy tea, freshly ground up. And if you like fruity terps, if you like funky terps, this is right up your alley. It's both. It's probably more on the fruity side, smell-wise. It's like tropical fruit punch. Not a one fruit that stands out sort of thing, like, mango smile, mango. This one just has a tropical fruit kind of vibe, which is awesome. And gets me in a tropical mode, because I'm going down to Mexico in 2 weeks, so I'm really enjoying these terps, man. I'm like, this is something I would, man, if I could swing it, I'd try to bring it down with me, so I could, yeah, like pairing this with a pina colada would be perfect. So yeah,
nice. Cheers,
man. Yeah, we'll talk more about it, of course. I just want to, let you guys know what you're in for. It's I mean, we're talking about mango smile level, really. When I equate it to that, you kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's fucking tropical vibes and narrow leaf variety too. This shit made me kind of forget a lot of my talking points on the other podcasts and stuff. It has like amnesia.
Are you sure you should be doing this? That sounds a little dangerous.
Yeah. Well,
it sounds like they should have called it dementia.
It's that amnesia haze lineage, It's true to its name. It can.
Yeah, some true amnesia haze really can make you fucking forgetful. It's legit. Nice. Big old ripper. G3, what's in your fucking bong tonight?
Sister's wedding.
Again, you're so predictable. You just, when you find a strain that you like, you stick with it.
I don't really have much of a choice. I am really working with super limited space, so I can grow like 2, 3, maybe 4 plants at a time. So once a plant comes to harvest, like She's one of 2 or 3 you guys are gonna hear about.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Once I
Alright.
have, like, my 4x8 in here,
I can't
my
wait to see what you do with
dreams.
that bitch.
Gosh, I really want just Pennsylvania needs to get their shit together. So, anyway, when I can finally grow the way I want to, you guys are gonna see a lot of stuff coming out of this basement.
I think if you follow the money, Rex coming soon with home grow for PA.
I think so too.
You know, only a matter of time. Only a
I
matter of
hope
time.
so. We have bills waiting to go, and we now have like a primarily Democratic state legislature. So hopefully they swing that way, and then we can grow.
Nice.
That's all I care about. I don't really
Yeah.
care if it goes recreational. That stuff you buy from dispensaries will kill you. But I really want to grow. So can we get that done, please? Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Right. I know, and I mean, a 4x8 would be sweet though. Upgrade the space some, and
I'd really like to.
All right.
We'll get there.
Well,
variety is the spice of life.
it'll come.
Amen,
It'll
sir.
come.
Amen.
What you got? What you got tonight, Monster? What you smoking?
I am smoking on some lemon fucking cava.
Nice. I was waiting for that to make a comeback.
Yeah, you know.
Lemon cava.
So
Is that-
it is. It's a strain.
Is that a citrus strain?
Sort of. I pheno hunted a bunch of them, and the one that I picked out, it definitely has a lemon vibe to it, but it's more on the peanut butter breath. So it's black lemon cake crossed with peanut butter breath. A friend of mine over at Brothers and Farms, Jat, put that together, and it's been a keeper in my fucking stable for a couple of years now. I just keep growing it because I just absolutely love it. The frost level on it is like amazing. The taste, it yields well. It's a really good smoke, and it will always be in my stable.
Can we all agree that peanut butter breath is probably like all time top 10?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
It's up there.
people make fun of me on the show. That's kind of my thing. They're like peanut butter breath, peanut butter breath, peanut butter. But I've grown like 6 or 7 different crosses of peanut butter breath. I've grown peanut butter breath. It is a favorite of mine. It's a fucking, because it hits different,
I think we even had a drinking game at some point, having to do with you saying the phrase peanut butter breath, because it is one of your favorites. But I saw a question in the chat real quick.
Started
What
the
am
whole
I
company off of peanut butter breath.
drinking on? I wanted to just say real quick, this is a
pretty
sour.
color.
Yeah, nice. It's a sour.
Almost looks like fruit punch.
Cherry. Indeed, and it pairs very nicely with the tangy Tibuguana, a tangy beer with a tangy bud.
Nice.
I love that
It's
you
awesome.
love sours, man. I'm a huge sour connoisseur. Like I really love
Nice.
a good sour. They have to be done right, but when they're done right, your cheeks
For
get
sure.
all like rosy and warm, and the back of your jaws like water up, and it just hits different than the other
It
stuff.
does.
What are you smoking on, you fucking sicko?
I saw you light it up. What is it?
Well, so we started with Gushman's times Runts, and then a couple other ones, but we landed on Loudmouth number 22. So this is a Gorilla Butter electric peanut butter cookie cross. Then this is just a random pheno, because that's all we do is pheno hunt.
Number 22.
Yeah. So I guess we're about to find out what electric peanut butter cookie times Gorilla Butter number 22 is all about.
Electric peanut butter cookie times Gorilla Butter. All right, that's a lot of. It's a lot. That's a mouthful.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the lineage.
Yeah.
So electric peanut butter cookie. So my homeboy at Light Sky Farms in 2018. We had been working with each other prior to that, but I gave him my peanut butter breath cut, my GG4 cut, my electric lemon G cut, and then he had the San Francisco cut of Girl Scout cookies. So he's like a legend for extracts. So he mixed all of those strains together and put it into a cart, and it won 2018 High Times Cup. And then actually, they published that it was the best cart of the year. So after
Whoa.
he won, I went to the lab and took all those plants and actually made it a plant. So I took all the parents. I made electric gorilla butter, um, which is peanut butter breath, GG4, electric lemon G. I took an electric gorilla butter dad and hit it to his Girl Scout cookie cut and made electric peanut butter cookie, right? And shit, to this day, that's still the dopest dope, like flat out.
Oh,
That's
Great.
cool.
I mean,
You
it's
know,
got.
That.
I'm a GG4. One of my favorites. And it sounds like that's one of the things you like to work with, and a lot of the crosses involve some sort of gorilla in the name. I'm taking it.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it panned out. Um, I think that the plants found me at that particular time and place, and that's kind of what was happening. It's kind of a blessing and a curse to work with glue and peanut butter breath. Um, but they're both so solid and so good in so many other ways than trying to work with them from a breeding aspect that, I went down that road. And
Why do you say that? What about those strains is tough from a breeder's perspective?
well, it's not the do-si-do's fault. But Studley Spew Right was hit to the do-si-do, right? Studley Spew Right is special in his own way, but not necessarily stable in any sort of manner. But gives you like an avenue to work with that you've never seen or been able to work with before, right? GG4, we all know, can be very finicky and is not necessarily the most stable thing either, right? But you have to like weigh your odds when you're doing stuff like this. So um, there's winners in all those packs. There's life changing things that come out of those genetics. You know what I mean? Um, it's just a little bit of dedication and a little bit of like going through stuff but there's just so much potential there that I couldn't leave it alone.
we've actually talked about this. Sometimes, as Captain refers to what you got to take a little bit of the crazy to get the shit you're looking for. Like the crazy ones, the fucked up ones. It could bring something special.
100%, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of cats, a lot of breeders, and like I don't consider myself a breeder. I'm just a plant shepherd, right? But
Oh, I love that.
Plant shepherd.
I love that so much.
Good term. Bah.
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 well, now you guys are making it sound bad. I don't want to
No,
be a
I love
shepherd.
that.
No,
Either.
that's
Seriously, I think
good.
it's
Just a
amazing.
plant.
We
Yeah.
just
It's a good way to put it.
But so along, now I've lost track because my mind has already
Sound
gone
like
a
me.
million ways.
Sorry.
So number 22 is hitting right.
But that's how you know it for sure. Well, I
Uh,
mean,
so
no,
let's
let's.
backtrack for a
Yeah,
second. What
we were
were we
talking a
just?
little bit about like you know, the borderline, fine line between like genius and insanity sort of thing. Like some of the genetics show a little bit of instability in
Yeah,
some
yeah,
traits,
yeah.
but
Yep,
the
I'm back on
flower
track.
is
Yeah, so
worth
I'm
it.
back on track here. Thank you. So I've spent countless hours, like up till the wee hours of the morning, on Attitude Seed Bank, on all the seed banks, looking at every single cross and then looking at their lineages. And I've bought seeds from just about every breeder on the fucking planet. And I've popped them all and I've ran them all. You know what they all have in common?
No.
They all
Tell
harm.
us.
Hail herb.
And you want and you want to know
Everybody
why? That's
herbs.
not a discredit. That's not a discredit to them. But this plant, the reason we have cannabis is because it found a way as an annual to carry itself on.
I think we've talked about that on the show before too, man. I believe that's just an inherent trait in all cannabis plants. They have the ability to
Hit the
pollinate
emergency
themselves.
button.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
know?
literally.
it
Yeah,
it has to, otherwise we wouldn't have cannabis.
for sure.
Just like people take
Survival of
clones
the
and clones
species.
and clones and all this, but they're forgetting about the fact that it's really in nature, it's a one and done. It's
Yeah.
an annual. It's not a perennial where you plant it and it keeps coming back every year. Like,
Hmm.
you have to physically manipulate it into these situations. And um, it found a way to survive. And thank goddess, because, you know, she, she provides a lot. Like, these plants provide so much to us, like healing. I mean, the amount of like success stories that come from people who have cancers and just any ailment, like, I don't know. It's a blessing. Thank God for bananas. Stay peeled.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, bananas! You don't even want to start talking about bananas. We've been there the last
My
couple
Gonna get,
weeks,
favorite
guys.
fruit right now.
But
it might get
um,
slippery.
Yeah,
right.
Tad.
So is that one of the things that kind of brought you to breeding in a sense? I mean, just the magic of the plant, the ability to heal people, the ability to, I mean,
No, like, to be completely honest with you, I've always had a relationship with the plant, in some sort of fashion since I was like 16. Um, and it was like the ninth or 10th time that I smoked weed. I was like, I can't do this. I don't like this shit. Cause I would just like white out, black out, spin out, sweat my ass off, and like it would send me for a loop. And the last time I smoked it, I was like, I'm not a fucking quitter.
are you sure you weren't doing nitrous?
I'm
Like, I
straight
don't
up.
know if you were smoking what you thought you were
Like,
smoking.
Oh, no, totally, I was. And this is like, my individual like body and how it reacted to that, right?
Gotcha.
And I would get so fucking high that it was like a situation, for like 15, 20 minutes where I was like out. And like, so I was like, oh, but I'm not a quitter. So I kept going. And
I love it.
I'm not a quitter.
and then it just progressed throughout my lifetime over the years to, I don't want to divulge too much stuff, but just um it's been a very big part of my life up to this point where I went and worked in Alaska on the Bering Sea. Uh and I did that for like 3 years. And I hurt myself halfway through my third year stint. I tore my L3, my L4, a bunch of muscles in my sacrum, and uh that was like a 14-month recovery period. And when I got done with that, I'm like, well, shit, what do I do now? So I started this art company. It was all handmade Michigan artists, and we called it Spa Life, and it stands for Spreading Peace Abroad. And it was more to give people hugs and love and like, um, just be real with people because I don't think that people get that enough. But also, like, all the hours at night painting shit, puffy painting shit, making tie dye, stencil work, all this stuff. Did that, right? And then it moved into, all right, me and my homie are gonna go grow mushrooms, and we got this tent with a couple lights, and we're gonna grow our own weed, right? So we got this trailer in Buckley, Michigan, out in the fucking middle of nowhere, right? So him and I shared it. Like, he had his couch, I had a couch, and then we shared a dresser. And then the rest of the trailer had window shakers, ACs, fucking there was plants everywhere, right? and we fucking nailed it, you know? And the story goes on, and now here we are, right? So, um, it wasn't about ever initially like, oh, I'm gonna help people or this plant's gonna help people. That was never my train of thought. But then as, things progressed, I was made more aware of what was actually going on with this plant and how much it affects our community and people's livelihoods and their health and um, you know, the respect, throughout the years has just grown and made me more aware of like what it is that we're actually doing, with this plant, how important it is with what we do with this plant and how we deliver it and who's taking care of it. And, the list goes on and on. So um, now I'm addicted to this plant. I can't get enough. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Christmas every day. Like I go in and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, boys and girls?" Because I got both of them. You know, it's not just like, "Hey, what's up, ladies?" I got dudes in the room. I got girls in the room. But they're our highest excitement. My highest excitement. Um, and there's so many opportunities uh with this plant that I'm excited about. And one of the biggest reasons I'm excited about it is because, you know, I don't know shit. I've read one book about cannabis. This is all experience for me. Everything is just a relationship with the plants and an experience with the plants. And so for me, that passion is always going to be on like you're it's going to be on dying because there's always something new that they can show me, teach me, and we work together. We're a fucking team, and now I'm rambling because number 22 hits real right.
Number
We like that.
22. That's cool, man. No, it's a relatable story. I think it's cool to just hear people's past with the plant. I appreciate you sharing that. And
Dude, it all started with a hammer and a flathead screwdriver to bust open a pound that was like that big and like squished like that thick,
some brickweed.
And so now when I look back on that shit, why did we throw those seeds away?
Oh,
That's like
should have saved them.
that's the most beautiful open pollination situation you could ask for. Like you can't even recreate that now, you know?
Mm.
Like, dude, those seeds, who knows what was in there?
You think like if you had like some old school, swag, got like a couple dime bags or nick bags even from the corner in like
Allegedly.
2000. Yeah, right. Then got a couple seeds from there. Like if you actually grew those in ideal conditions, do you think they would be fire?
You ever heard of chem dog?
Of course.
There you go, buddy. Those are
Oh yeah.
seeds. Those are seeds out of something that hermed and spread pollen, and there were seeds in those females, and now we have chemdog, right?
Was it like brickweed though? Like I mean, like it was a seeded like a mistaken pollination, I guess.
Yeah, but the only reason weed is ever in a brick is because somebody made it that way to get it across the border. Like
True. Okay, true. I guess it's
the point is, I guess what we're
yeah.
both saying to each other is yes, pop all those seeds. Like some of the stuff that is the most like um popular things or the hot shit or some of the like shit that we want to breed with, like GG Ford, Chem, and all this stuff. Dude, a lot of those are mistakes, natural mistakes. Somebody had to pop them.
Yeah, so you just never know what the fuck you're gonna get, right? Basically, if you
Exactly.
yeah. It's funny. I found some old seeds. I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago that I had saved. Like fucking marsh weed seeds, and I tried everything to pop them. I couldn't get them to to do it. I didn't storm, anything like right. They were in a cigarette cellophane, like heat sealed with a lighter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's the
The
fucking
OG
Not
shit.
appropriate
Yeah.
storage.
I don't have
Yeah.
a
Can't do
bag and
anything.
I don't have a pill bottle, but here, someone has a cellophane from a cigarette pack.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
Ah.
something with me.
People still look at me crazy when they're like, I don't have anything to put this in, and I pull out my cigarettes and rip the cellophane off, and I'm like, here, put it in here, and then seal it up with the lighter, and they're like, what?
Yeah, it's like magic. I know.
Damn, I'm getting old.
Oh
for
shit!
sure.
Now that I think about it, that's how you fucking handed me that flower.
Exactly. See, I'm not a liar. This is truth. Oh man,
That's some funny shit, dude. That's some funny shit.
we got so high together, and I'm always like super paranoid about like, because it carries a lot of weight when you have this like, people see all these pictures and all these things on your Instagram, right? And it carries weight, and it always worries me when I'm like, all right, the picture better match the smoke. You know what I mean? So you never know what you're gonna get, right? Like my opinion of what's good and your opinion of what's good are totally different, right? So Nick and I are just getting to know each other, just meeting. And what was it? Butter peels?
Burnout.
Oh, burnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the name of the strain you guys were smoking?
Yeah, I never tried anything like it before. It was like a chem fruit like that. Like I was getting like that rubber, but like with the undertone of like the fruit, and
Yeah, like a certain kind of little sweetness, right?
yeah, and it didn't even go through like a 24-hour sweat or anything. It was just hang dry, picked right off the fucking plant. And we smoked it up, and I enjoyed it.
We got burnout together for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
But I was so nervous, you know what I mean? Because it's like the whole process is to, you know, make into like put into fruition all the way to the end to the where you are smoking it or you are eating it or you are extracting it. That very end product is like the whole point of it all, right?
Hmm.
Things can be frosty, things can be this, things can be that.
Yeah, like sometimes you just never know. I mean, I've grown shit that looked really fucking frosty, and then you smoke it, and you're like, yeah,
Wow,
it
wow.
isn't. It isn't always. There's so many different. I've said it before. It's not just the THC. There's you know the terpenes and other subcannabinoids and things that we fucking have no idea about. And the thing that I find special about cannabis is, everybody's body, we have cannabinoid receptors, right? So we were, put on this planet, and cannabis was put on this planet for us by whoever the fuck whatever God you believe in or higher power, doesn't matter. It's
Tell 'em.
science. We have cannabinoid receptors in our body. Every mammal on the planet does. So we are meant to consume this plant in one way or another, and it doesn't necessarily have to be THC. Some people get down with CBD. You know what I mean? So I feel like it could benefit everybody. I don't feel like there's a person on this planet that couldn't benefit from cannabis in some way. So that's my rant.
Agree.
I'm out.
The reason we have those receptors is because our ancestors were using this plant in some sort of way to the point where there's these receptors in our body. That's why a lot of people are fucking sick because these receptors have been deprived. They're not getting what they need in order for your body to function and be right and be healthy. And then all of a sudden people get sick, and then we're like, oh, just do this, and then people get better. But my belief is that I don't think we really need to get sick.
Ideally, but
Yeah, I feel like
You just gotta feed the receptors, and that doesn't sound all bad to me.
I
Like,
feel like smoking definitely like has strengthened my immune system in a weird way. I don't know. That's probably a whole like different conversation, but like I don't know. It's I tend to not get sick when that's Like if I stop smoking, I'm just like, right away, I'm sick. No, it's honestly I go through, like, I don't know if you experience it too. Has anyone of you guys tried to stop smoking, like on a
Oh,
daily habit? And I mean, you were
yes.
talking not daily, like an hourly. Let's be real, every 10-minute sort of habit. If you
Reckless
try to
habit.
quit,
Yeah.
have
It's
you tried to quit?
Yes, I have, and it's miserable. I know people say that it's not addicting and it's just all in your head. It's not in my head, I can tell you. Makes me nauseous. I can't eat. Just like super irritable. It's just I am not myself.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really been a breakfast guy. I kind of have to like, take a couple of rips to mellow myself out for the day and get going before I want to eat. So, um, yeah, I mean, look, when I have tried to quit and it's not a fun time. I'm kind of a prick and like it's only like, like shit back in like 2000, 2001. It was a rough point, a really rough point in my life. I had gotten laid off a couple months before 9/11. I was a machinist. Manufacturing was fucking nowhere. It was really hard to find work and it was really stressing me out. My unemployment was about to run out. And yeah, I started having panic attacks. So I was like, oh, maybe it's the herb, right? So I stopped smoking for, a week or so and it wasn't fun. Like I definitely learned to appreciate the plant more, right? Because you know, everybody just said, "Oh, it's the herb," because that's the first thing that people will go to when you tell them you're having anxiety or panic attacks. Like, "Oh, you're smoking too much herb. It's the herb," right? So I'm like, you know what? Fucking maybe it is, right? So I stopped for a week, and I was still having anxiety, and it was almost worse in some ways, So it no, like I need cannabis. You know what I mean? Like,
So that was like the last time you went on like a extended break, was all the way back in '01. We're talking like over 20 years ago.
yeah, I smoke. I haven't. I can't tell you the last time I haven't smoked.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
or
I
why
have
say
that's why we're buds, because it's that's some dedication to the cause, my friend. Like, really, that's like
See,
a
isn't
Cal Ripken type of streak right there, dude.
20 years. 20 years loyal to the herb. Don't they
I
say that
mean,
in order for it to be addiction, it needs to have a negative impact on your life?
I guess that's in the eye of the beholder, right? But that makes
Right. So,
sense.
I mean, what do you like have more fun playing board games with your kids and can,
I mean,
and
everybody at the end of the day is addicted to something. Why do you think Starbucks is billionaires?
Amen.
well, that's what they say, like the difference
I
between
mean,
like
are you
physical
addicted to?
reliance and
There's-
addiction. Addiction is like it's bringing negative shit into your life. It's really
mm,
ruining relationships, whatever. If you have a physical reliance on something, like cannabis makes me a better person. If, you wake up and you have a shitty back and you take Tylenol every morning, that's a physical reliance on it. It's the same type of thing.
mhm. Yeah, people fail to see that. Really, there's a song
Yeah.
by Ludacris I want everybody to listen to after this show. It's called "Vices," and the story of the song is
Well,
everybody has vices. So it's
This
true.
that's one of the new ones, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty good song.
it's like Luda, man.
Well,
Yeah,
I would hope so because you just told everybody to go listen to it.
yeah, and if you don't like it,
Go fuck yourself.
I'm very
That's the
candid about that.
motto.
Yep.
Well, wait, I had like something. I'm like, it's on the top of my head, but I'm now losing my train of thought, as happened on the other show
I
as
told you
well.
that Tangy Chipiquan was a
Fucking
bad
yeah,
idea
dude.
for this show.
This fucking amnesia haze in this
Yeah,
weed.
but
I'm telling you, like,
in a lot of ways, it's good for the show because it, you know what I mean? Like it kind of gets your cerebral going a little bit and you're fucking flowing. And then next thing you know, you're like, what was I talking about?
gotta
Fuck it.
keep me on my toes, man.
Yeah.
It's like everyone thinks you got a plan until you lose your fucking plan because you smoke too much tangy tibuana.
Yeah.
I
But
think
So,
see,
that
you
was
don't even have to
False.
worry about that shit if you don't go into it thinking you have a plan. Because if you go into it without a plan, then you didn't break the plan. You didn't fuck anything up. You're just still
Yeah.
doing what you were gonna do before.
We never have a plan.
No, we don't script
Absolutely
shit. We
true.
just go into the show.
Fucking plans.
One thing
Never
Oh, yeah.
I
plan.
I had it. We were talking about little like extended quitting breaks.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tolerance breaks, that sort of thing.
Let's
Not
hear.
that I'm considering such a drastic and sudden move. I mean, that would be why. But no, there are occasions where like one would maybe want to do that for maybe mental health or just financial reasons. I mean, who knows? You're
Could
just a
I actually
masochist. I don't know.
could I actually speak on what
Yeah,
you
of
just said?
course. Yeah.
So my last break was I got in trouble when I was like 33, and um, I couldn't smoke. I hated it. So the first month, I was like, I'm gonna sneak a couple hits in. It'll be out of my system, you know. So I get high, and it was like the worst high I've ever had because I was like, oh, I just fucked myself. And then every day after that, leading up to the visit to the probation place, I'm like, it was hell, right? So that made it easier for me to take a year break because I had to, because that wasn't enjoyable. Like that wasn't like what I what I was looking for or expecting, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and then I've always been like a heavy smoker, but as Fresh Coast got bigger, um, really fast too. I had to like cut back on that, like just because there's so many moving parts and there's so much shit happening. Really had to stay on top of my game. So, um, with that being said, like after 7, 8 at night, like I'm down. But before that, like I'll just end up eating BLTs and taking a nap on my couch nowadays. Like, you know what I mean? So I just have to be very careful and selective with it. But we also have to smoke a shit ton of weed because all we do is pheno hunt.
Part of
It's
the
just
Right. You just drown in it.
it's part of
Be
the hunt,
everywhere.
like
What's true of
my homies that just smoke dabs from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. I can't roll like that. It doesn't mean that.
I can't either, man. I turn into a zombie
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Crazy.
dabs.
You think there's a way to like sample weed when you're pheno hunting without like when you do a wine tasting, you can like put the drink the wine, take a sip, and then you spit it out. That sort of thing. Like, would it be like a Bill Clinton inhale?
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say if you do that with the weed, you'd be Bill Clinton. Like
I did not
I did
inhale.
not
I didn't
inhale.
inhale.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the kind of flack? So just picture me on my Instagram, like, all right, so we're doing some weed testing tonight. I'm not going to inhale.
Just
Gonna,
How
taking
could
little like
you not? I would have to physically think about that.
Plus,
right.
you don't get
It
that
would
true
be
flavor without like the exhale, like
Well,
from.
and so here's the thing about like all the different plants that they're all new to your body. So the first time we smoke anything from whether it's decided to be a keeper or not a keeper, you're gonna get lit because your body has never experienced that particular entourage before.
Mhm.
So like it's that's why you got to keep smoking it to find out who has the ceiling, who doesn't have the ceiling. There's just so
interesting.
much that goes into this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ceilings are interesting. Well, but before we move on to a little bit, I did want to say like, yeah, dude, I get sick as hell if like G3. I mean, if I take a little, if I take a break, yeah, first thing is nausea, no appetite, no ability to sleep,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm like way more of a prick. Which like, yeah, you don't want to see me when I'm way more of a prick. But it's just like it's not that it is not, I guess it's definitely addictive. I don't want to like sugarcoat it, like it is straight up. I mean, but all things relative, like there's substances that are way harder to kick. All it really takes in most cases, I mean, even in the most extreme, like cannabis withdrawal you would be experiencing is not that bad. Like just, I don't know.
Well, so you know how when you don't eat for a while and your stomach starts to rumble and it lets you know that you're hungry, and then you
Yeah.
feed it, and then that goes away, right? So,
Mhm.
for instance, you start smoking cannabis, now you're feeding the receptors we were just talking about. So those cells and those receptors start to stretch out, and they now require at least that every day. Otherwise, they're going to feel hungry, which in turn is going to make you feel a certain way.
Makes sense
Yeah.
from a science standpoint. Can't
I've
argue with
heard it.
science.
I
Depends on
mean,
who's science, I guess.
you
Um,
can, but then you get called anti-science and like all sorts of
Yeah,
mean
don't
stuff
even go
these
down
days.
that road.
It's
we're not going to start that. We're not even going to start
uh,
that. Back up,
you
back
know,
up, back up,
but
back up. What about,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard
but
CBD.
my point
So,
was just to
yeah,
bring into
good.
perspective, like, to give some like people an idea of like a comparison of how that looks and how that makes your body feel. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not like any different than eating or, when you need something, you know it, right? But you don't know
yeah.
you need something until you've had it before.
Fair enough.
Well,
That's very
Makes
true, I
sense.
suppose.
you
You never know you're missing it.
I wonder, like, I wonder if the people that have like never smoked before, their cannabinoid receptors are empty. They're like
They're
Closed. They're
starving.
they're
closed.
closed, and they're like
Poor sad closed receptors.
longing for those cannabinoids to come into contact with them, but they just never get them. Like I wonder, you know, I just I imagine no research has been done if what that does to a person's brain, how that affects a personality, like how that affects overall health and that sort of stuff. It's just like shit. They don't even teach that, like the endocannabinoid system exists in most medical schools. It's not even like a thing that they might like glance over it in a week, but like it's not very touched on.
No, it's not.
Doctors don't really and it should be. I mean, I imagine it will be like um yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Joe Biden just, canceled the ban on research, so that's a great thing.
Ooh.
Baby
Sure.
Yeah.
steps. Baby
Well,
steps.
unlike that bullshit fucking thing he did with the federal possession. I mean, that was stupid. That did nothing. I do think, love him or hate him, I do think that this is actually a good thing.
He did a thing.
That I can give him a little bit of props on this one because we do need the research there to be able to help more people. So the thing that concerns me about it, though, right, is like contrary to what people will believe, and it doesn't. I'm not saying this about him in particular, but really any politician, they always have an agenda, right? They're not doing it for the people. So, you know, there's there's just always something in the back of my mind. Okay, all right, well, he's opened the door for this now. Why, right? Not because he thinks it's the right thing, um, you know, because he's been pressured by the right people, really, to get it done. So,
He's
um,
got his cronies in the right positions to be able to benefit from the law change. That's
mm,
in a lot of cases that can be what it is too. But man,
I'll take
despite
it.
all that, yeah, it's
Baby
it's a
steps.
win. I guess it's a win. I mean,
We'll
it's just
find
kind
out.
of like, yeah, it's paving the inevitable path for like Marlboro Greens bought at Walmart, right?
Mark my words, the second this shit becomes completely federally illegal, it's gonna go illegal again for all of us.
Yeah.
So
I've said the same thing. I don't think people realize. I don't think we want federal legalization.
No, we didn't
Mhm.
even want commercial licenses with what's going on. Look at what's happening to the plant.
Yeah. We want the community. We don't necessarily want a lot of the industry.
No. Do your
Yeah.
do your shit and don't get caught.
Hey, have you listened to the show before? Is that because that's our that's our one of our
It was
Our
it,
catchphrases, man.
thing.
it was fine when it was that way. And now look,
It's
now we're all
true.
struggling. All the people who built this, now we're all struggling and hurting and trying to figure out new
Well,
ways and like
that's
why.
why we we tent pirates will reign supreme after the collapse, the inevitable collapse of the cannabis
Surrender the tent.
civilization. It'll be like fucking Mad Max Thunderdome
Oh
around these
shit.
parts, but instead of cars, it'll be boats. Okay,
I
picture
like
that.
that.
So tent grows for the win, I guess. But like, uh, you know, they can always say you can't do something, but like, ultimately, it's like you said, man. Don't get caught.
There you
Don't get
go.
caught.
Don't get caught. But so I wanted to like, bring it back a little bit to like, Fresh Coast Seedco,
Yeah.
the brand, man. Like what it's all about. Like you're making, well, photo period hybrids. Do you do exclusively feminized seeds or non-feminized or a mix of both? It just depends. Like
Regs.
No, so I've done some like collabs with Dr. Freak and a couple other guys that involve like fem seeds. I did the moose cookies reversal, and that is like a super high CBD THC. Um, it's it's like 13 and 13 or 12 and 13. And so I
Wow.
did a
That's
reversal
nice.
with her, and I hit it to like GG4, GMO, lemon puff, ghee butter, and a couple other things, and that was for the people. So when people like hit me up about CBD stuff, and because it's very important to administer high amounts of THC but also administer the CBD, and they kind of balance each other out, so you can deliver more THC into the situation than you could without all that CBD in there. um, so I like save those for people, and that's a whole fem line. But most everything I do is all regs. It's taken me a while, but so like um, on the reg side of things, obviously I started with gear from Gromer. Um, I asked permission to do what I was gonna do, and he said, "Free the seeds, baby." So I will never discredit him. I started
bug
everything that I
bug.
have, out of his camp, and he's actually been really awesome to me over the years. Anyways, um,
And that's
so now I've
Thug
got
Bug Genetics for people who might not know.
yeah.
Cool, cool, man.
So then I just started playing around. Like I said, I'm a plant shepherd. Like I don't know shit. I've read one book about cannabis. Um, I do this like, just based on this like weird relationship that I don't know how to explain, but just with the plants, and it just started going down. And I lost track again.
Yeah, well, so you do a little bit of, you said feminized or
Oh yeah,
there's
so I
some
have the
fem, some regs.
Yep, so I have the moose cookie line, and that actually turned out really well because we were like doing our own colloidal silver every single day, like fresh. And that was probably the best reversal that I've gotten results from, where I'm like, oh wow, that's solid. And you know, um, and I've used some other products since then just because my schedule is so crazy. I can't be there every day to make colloidal silver and spray it on the plant every day for 3 weeks. But um I've had many attempts, and they just aren't necessarily something that like they're just not turning out the way that I would like to see. You know what I mean? Um,
So
but the
primarily reg seeds.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
regs is my game. You know what I mean? So I'm
yeah,
like
right, right on.
I'm 6 years deep on like Gorilla Nut BX2, which is actually Gorilla Butter, but I named it Gorilla Nut because I was specifically gonna take it to the peanut butter side of things. So I still haven't come out with the Gorilla Butter BX because I'm gonna take that to back to that mom and load it up with the glue, right? So Gorilla Butter is Gorilla Butter, Gorilla Nuts, Gorilla Nut, but they're actually both just Gorilla Butter. But I'm isolating peanut butter on one side and glue gas on the other side, and then so I wanted to separate those. Um, and so that just
Nice.
it's taken a long time. You know, patience is key. But yeah, I don't know. Like everything that I have now, like I built different genome foundations and then built on those, and the whole goal is to bring them all back to themselves in some manner or form, right? Um, it's gonna smell like a loud ass peanut, you
I can
know.
get
A
down with that.
roasted peanut or a boiled peanut or
Not a boiled peanut. Those are very tasty, but no, this is like a fresh roasted, oily, salty. Yeah, maybe accidentally somebody put some gas in there at the end. It's like that, And um, I don't know. It's taken us, my plants, myself, Rachel, everybody involved that's ever been involved. It's just been a lot of work and like I said, I don't know shit. I
Yeah, I think
just
you know more than you give yourself credit
hey,
for, buddy.
well,
Mhm.
it's
I
we
agree.
just
you know,
we just keep rolling with it,
it's
And like
knowing that you don't know. That's that's the secret, man. There's you can think you know, but it's mostly like you know enough to get yourself into trouble. Like once you understand a subject, and most subjects at least, you realize like shoot, there's like I could never master this like in a lifetime. There's reasons people devote entire careers to like one little specific field of study, you know?
yeah.
But I don't know, that's a whole different thing, man.
Right. So
You know,
somebody puts a book in front of us when we're first able to read, and we're like supposed to believe that book, no matter what. Like because we don't know any better, right?
because we like can't read it at the time, right? And they just
Well,
interpret it
well,
for us.
no, what I'm saying is like who the fuck says that that is actually true?
Oh,
Who's
shit.
that guy? And who
Yeah.
started it before that? We don't know shit. That's the beauty of it is we're constantly learning. What's important is right now, this moment, the next moment, and how you move forward with things. And that's that's the learning.
I agree with that, especially since I can't remember the last moment specifically due to this read.
Somebody told me cannabis affects short-term memory, but I don't remember who said it.
There's
Russ,
lots of
My
things that
guidance
affect that.
counselor. It was my high school guidance counselor. They definitely mentioned that.
fuck that guy.
And I think he was right. Yeah, he must have been smoking some amnesia haze.
I can't
Let,
remember who told me about it.
yeah. Let's bring it back a little bit. I think you don't call yourself a breeder, right? You call yourself a shepherd of the plants. The one thing
Yeah.
that you do very well is you're an amazing, talented grower. Um, why don't you tell people a little bit about your growing style and how you get down?
Oh baby. Um so do you want me to start with like the soil and the whole process or
Yeah, like take it
Start
wherever
at
you
the
want to take it,
beginning,
man.
and when you
So I
get to the
guess
end, stop.
I've taken it. I'm gonna just guess. Like I would put $1,000 on organic. You're an organic grower.
I mean, try to be
Well,
as much as you can,
I win that bet then, right?
as much as you can be, right?
Okay, good. All right, all right. I mean, even before you said the word soil, I kind of had a vibe. You know what I mean?
Yep. So, um, yeah. So basically, if you guys haven't heard of Seedco soil, that's a collaboration with my brother and I. That's like a conglomerate of, you know, recipes and all this stuff that's now available to the public. But yeah, I mean, I started like cooking my own soil. Like I said, I read one book. It was the Revs book, and I just started following that recipe and just started, you know, doing it myself. And that's kind of how it all went because of, you know, where my mindset was and where I am as a human being is I didn't, I never really thought about every square inch or how many pounds can I get out of a light or none of that. Like, I wanted like the most dank fire weed possible. I don't give a shit if I get an ounce off of a 5 gallon pot. Like, it's about connoisseur stuff. It's about leveling up because, you know, and so the money never really mattered. None of these things ever really mattered. So it rolled me into this space where, you know, um, I loved like working with the soil like that for one, you know, because I got to touch the soil and I got to be with the plant and you know I touched all of it and trimmed it and gave it to people like there's like a beautiful energy transfer that happens like that, you're right. So then I just continued that on a bigger space and you know like when it comes to like the seeds and all that we touch every single seed that anybody buys, like it's an energy transfer, right?
Yeah.
Well, so going back to because I'll rant and rave here for a minute. You just have to follow me. But I'll go back and so it starts with the soil. So we grow soil, plants are the byproduct, right? Um, and so when I started to scale up, that wasn't really practical, especially when you're trying to pop seeds and nothing is like in order as far as like a schedule, like it's just mayhem, right? And all stages, all the time, right? So that's where we came to a spot where, so I was like layering pots and, you know, doing cheat codes inside of the container, right? Um,
Cheat codes. What's that?
cheat codes.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what's that?
So like, so because I don't want to upset anybody, but it's really easy, right? So let's say,
You won't upset anyone here, man. I promise you that.
so yeah,
So
so
what? Like
let's
you
say,
did like a up, down, left, right, A B, A B. Select start.
hell yeah, how do you think I beat Contra?
you, you get all the guns and you get 99 lives. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Bam. So there's a simple cheat code for the people that are watching. Um, and don't hold this against me, but there is a really simple way to build a pot where you don't really need like, you know, I mean, if you're using RO water, you need to, you know, use some CalMag, and it doesn't have to be at high doses. Well, that all I guess depends on the lighting. If you're using metal halides and HPSs, you know, that feeding is way lighter than the process you have to take if they're under LEDs. But so the cheat code is you put a little bit of compost on the bottom of your pot, just a little bit, like real thin, right? Because you're going to start putting food on the floor. So the compost is the inoculant, right? So what does the inoculant need? It needs food. So then you put something like BioLive down and BioFish down. Um, these things that work together, right? So you make this layer, you bring it up, you find where your pot fits in, you lay it down, you put like, you know, your Dynamyco or your whatever you want to use for Dynamyco's the shit though.
Yeah. So we're
You put
talking
your root.
about
Yeah, you put.
microbes,
Yeah,
micro
Yeah,
codes.
you put your root ball right on it. You bring the soil halfway up the root ball, and then you repeat what you did on the bottom, and then you bring it up right. You know, you don't want to ever go past like the main stalk. So you just bring it right up there, and you make a trough on the outside, and you layer it with, you know, whatever you want. BioLive, uh, BioFish, Langbonite, Bokashi, and then you cover it. And so now you have a whole microbial system that can thrive at the top and the bottom and the middle. And mulch is so important. So like especially with the LEDs because they'll kill all that life on the top. You know, you want as much stuff breaking things down in order to make it completely available to the plant, right? And so I have through this process, it's been killing me over the last years that like I mean I used to shove grounding rods down into the ground and run copper wires into the building and then date each plant so that they thought that they were in the ground. I was bringing the earth's frequency to their pots. And it's like I used to put crystals in stuff and like I you know my RO water would run through a
Can do that.
copper pipe to put ions back in the water and and then like shit got out of control and so I had so I had to like you know find a happy medium and especially like when you're pheno-hunting um that's the beauty of the living soil is you'll find out from the plant if it's a heavy feeder if it starts to run out of food before the rest of them or it starts to do this or it starts to do that the living soil is a perfect platform for you to get an idea because it's not you feeding the plant it's not you phing stuff it's the soil and the plant working together and then if you pay attention to the plant you know you'll find out real quick you can look at a million different plants that want food want water don't want water like this don't like that you know you can find it out because it's a level playing field the soil and the root system they're all working together and so for me like it's a very good gauge and it's also a way to execute you know popping way too many seeds at one time
Yes.
Yeah.
and still being successful you know um
Oh, it's a you're right. Great way to run a breeding program, like a pheno hunting program with the living soil. You know, they all get like a level playing field. While at you could call it a level playing field. Like I've called it like a buffet. You know, they get all they can eat, and you figure out which ones go back for seconds. I guess is like the you
yeah
know,
yeah
and you're talking about. I love how you mentioned like you like mulch is so important. You know, I'm an organic guy too. G3 does a little bit herself. Monster's going to try it, I think, right?
Mhm.
Soon. But
Yep.
you know, and I've seen myself how important the mulch layer is. I use rice hulls in particular. Do you use straw or like just a
well I like to use a
wood
hard
chips?
yeah I like to use a hardwood mulch um
Mm-hmm.
but I've also like fucked around with using like different mulch for veg and flower. So, like I've used Douglas fir, for instance, in flower, and I know it sounds crazy. It's the weirdest thing. And like I said, I don't know shit. I don't understand it, but there's something about the mulch. Like until you've seen it, if you haven't used it and you haven't seen it, like if you use a pot without it, same plant, transplanted at the same time, and you put mulch on this one, dude, there's just a whole different system that happens that,
Well, I believe it because it's just a different type of wood
yeah,
bringing in different types of life to break down that specific type of wood. It's
pHs,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
within
different
with
pH range. Yeah, yeah.
and
It's
I'm
all
not trying to
different.
talk dirty, but within that wood, there's different nutrients that are available. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing with growing, man. You always end up like you're sounding dirty, but you're not
I
trying to
like
be.
it dirty.
Yeah.
talking about wood.
Dude, G3.
I think that's the clip we're
Oh,
isolating for this week.
I love it.
No, but seriously, so if Douglas fir offers maybe some sort of MPK or something like a sulfur compound or something that it delivers to the plant during its flowering cycle, then that's different than a hardwood that doesn't deliver that. Because you're watering it, it's soaking in, it's going into your soil. And all that stuff has an effect, and it's very
Cool, man.
interesting.
I
And
actually really like that idea. I'm you know, the just the concept of like, changing your mulch. Never really considered that. It's very
so,
outside the box, my
It
friend.
is.
so organic mechanics, rice hulls. I'm assuming that's what you use.
So I work for a brewery and I get them like
Oh
at a,
shit, you got the fucking
you know,
real
I
shit.
gotta hook up. Yeah, it's a
All right.
hookup, but
So let me
it's
ask. So let me
you
ask
got
you
to
this
use a
though.
real thick layer of them to keep everything nice and moist.
Yeah, and so let me ask you a few questions about rice hulls, and I'm not hating on them, but I just want to talk to you about it. So, like, do you find that maybe when you're watering, it might be like a little bit like it might be distributing water in a weird way because of like the way that it pushes apart, but then it denses up. Um, and also, do you notice a difference in your final flavor with rice hulls versus straw or versus, hardwood mulch?
I mean, honestly, like I've never really done comparisons like that. It works fine for me. Like it's a utilitarian thing. In all honesty, it's just
Yeah.
like it's a mulch layer, keeps the soil moist, keeps all the microbes happy, and breaking that stuff down. But
Mhm.
like now that honestly, like got my noggin jogging,
Yeah, I was just
son.
gonna say
I'm gonna.
I could see the wheels spinning up there now.
Mm-hmm.
I can say
Okay.
this much: I've smoked his herb, and it is very, very fucking tasty.
And
Yeah, yeah.
so
I'm always happy. Yeah, it's
so
Yeah.
so the reason why I was nervous about so we've been working out some
thanks,
serious
man. Of
kinks, and I want to talk about this for a minute if you guys have a minute. You guys have a minute?
course. Hey, we
We
got
got
More
plenty of
than
minutes. Shit, what
All right.
time is it?
So
We're only an hour and 15 minutes into the show, so you
all
lead
right.
the path, my friend. Wait, not
All right.
even. Are we? Yeah,
So
about
here we are. So we're
good
talking
drugs.
about soil, we're talking about processes and all these things. So
Mhm.
um you know, costs are a thing, right? So then all of a sudden LEDs come into the picture. But prior to that, like, HPSs, metal halides, CMHs were really getting brought into the mix too, right? Um, all of those are pretty healthy for the soil, right? And compatible with living soil. You can manage that feeding system. But now when all of a sudden you take those same things and put them under LED lights, now you just introduced a solution and a problem all at once. So,
and you mean that the plants will be hungrier under LED lights, right?
yeah, and for specific things, especially magnesium.
magnesium.
Magnesium. That's I
All
love
right.
that you mentioned that.
All right. So now we have a living soil pot. We have a plant, and you know, we enter it into this, we'll just call it, we put it in the flowering room, right? It comes from, you know, similar LEDs, but not exactly the same, right? You put them into this situation, and now they're getting like, even at 50, 60%, they're getting blasted. And it's like this stunted thing that happens, right? And you can tell they're pissed. So what we as we notice this, I was like, oh shit, like I was not prepared for this, right? So this is all off the cuff, right? So I'm like, shit, they need magnesium now. And so that's when I turned to like Epsom salts. Well, that fixed the problem, but it made another problem. So now I have a salt buildup in my living soil, which now makes it not living soil, which if you guys have ever grown in a preloaded living soil situation, the worst thing you can do is flush because the plant has decided what to uptake and what to leave behind. So when you start running water through that pot, thinking you're flushing it, you're actually now force feeding it. So keep that in mind. And now think about the salt buildup from the magnesium. So how do you get the salt out without
You,
flushing the pot?
I guess you
So
you
foliar
you
feeding.
foliar
Foliar
feed the
feeding.
magnesium. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Epsom salt, I would foliar feed instead of
Yep.
putting it in my soil.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
it's gonna be able to uptake it
and
much quicker anyway,
Like,
especially when you
and
see that
and
deficiency.
that's the answer is spraying them with it and not putting it in the soil, but letting the plant get it instantly, let it absorb that, and then you have minimal residue in your soil. It's just
um,
been a huge learning curve with the whole LED situation, you know.
I,
oh,
I, I think
for
that
sure.
that's why a lot of people shit on LEDs too. One, I mean, a lot they were shit like not even that long ago, like 10 years ago. They you know,
Like
maybe
major room like this color. Like,
yeah, yeah,
like the blurple, but
Mhm.
maybe
Blurples.
not quite this beautiful.
Dude,
Like
yeah.
the royal purple.
I don't hate on Blurple at all. I love Blurples. Dude, I'll take T5s with all different spectrums. I'll take Blurples. I'll take CMHs. I'll take HPSs, metal halides. Fucking throw it at me. I'm gonna hang it all up.
Love it.
Give me all the
Hey,
light.
for what it's worth, I've seen people have great results with all of those types that you mentioned.
Yep.
So
It's the people that hate on Blurple that can't grow under Blurple.
Well, you don't want to know the thing about Blurple though, Ross, and I will push back a little bit on this. They're actually terribly inefficient. Meaning like your HPS that you're trying to get more efficient with, a lot of these Blurples actually give you less output per watt than you would with an HPS fixture.
Yeah, but I'm not concerned about that. All I'm worried about is a different spectrum being introduced into the canopy.
All right. Well, hey, if you're willing to take that fucking all that into consideration, then
Hell
do
yeah,
your
I'm willing to take it.
do your
We're
thing,
trying to
brother.
grow the fucking chronic, dog.
I
Quality
love it.
over quantity.
I love it.
you know,
Hey, I rocked Blurples
spectrum.
back in the day and you know grew some good hair, but I
I
wouldn't
I
fill a room
still
full of
rock
them
them.
now.
I still rock them, but recently, every time I walk into the grow every day, I'm like, "Oop, that one's going out. Oop, gotta take that one down." So it's I'm about to be blurpled out. There's not gonna be any more blurples. So
Yeah, they're dying off one by one,
they are dying off
one diode at a
one
time.
blurple at a time, dude.
One diet at a time.
Yeah, one diode at a time.
Wah, wah.
One day they'll just be like, you just never know like which thing you have right now. That's like one day, 50 years in the future is going to be worth ungodly amounts of money for whatever reason. Like maybe it'll be fucking blurple lights.
It could be a blurple.
Who knows? You just never
Hell
know. Like who
yeah.
would have ever guessed that like, comic books that like uh, your dad or your grandpa had were ever going to be worth anything? Or video games for that matter. Shit, man. Every time I went and bought a video game in my whole life, I should have just bought an extra video game and kept it in the box with the wrapper all on it. Like I'd be a rich man right now.
Hey, so are you a Nintendo dude?
Yeah, I mean I
Yeah.
had Nintendo growing up.
Like
Yeah.
you grew up with Nintendo and shit?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right. You remember how like you had to use other games, like you had to push it on top of them to get it to work, or you had to like blow it out and then stick
Cartridge.
it in the fucking right way.
It was like an art form. Like
Oh, it
certain
was the
people
total
were good
art
at
book.
getting the Nintendo
Yeah.
at work, and some people
Dude.
weren't.
I would tell people that came to my house, like, well, if you want this Nintendo to work on this, well, first of all, listen, kids these days don't even know. If you want to play video games, your TV's got to be on channel 3. Channel. Does that even make sense to you people anymore? Like, I'm speaking like alien tongue now.
Oh,
But
hey,
Yeah.
Dad, we
So
got
it's-
channel 3, right?
But then you have to, like, you know, the yellow is video and the red and white are audio. You got to plug it. It's ins and outs, and then you have to blow in the cartridge. You have to tap on the side, on the left side of the console 2 times, and then you have to, like, say a Hail Mary, and then you
Oh yeah, and you might
be
have
able
to
to
do
play
that, and that doesn't work.
Metroid.
So you got to tickle the left side, tap it 4 times, and just
Exactly.
then you
It
shove
was a
something else
skill.
in there to get it to work. You know, so like RC Pro Am.
Oh yeah, I love that game, dude. That was a good one. That, like,
Yeah.
car racing, truck racing game.
Yeah, remember the one where you couldn't hit the oil slicks and then you hit the fucking speed things? Like
Oil slicks. I,
Bubble
I,
Bobble was my favorite.
uh,
I got to level 99, and then I was convinced that I had to get like the mega controller super powered thing, you know? So I convinced my parents and they got it for me, and I still never got past level 99.
I
You
don't think
Oh,
there was a past level 99, was there?
I don't know. You tell me. Did you get past level 99?
Dude, never. I never played Bubble Bobble. In all honesty, that was like a puzzle type game, wasn't it? Like,
No, that's where you're the
sure.
little dude and you jump up and you blow bubbles at dudes and you gotta pop them out of the
Yeah, the 2
bubble
little
and you.
dragons.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
was fucking
exactly.
Kirby.
No,
Kirby
Kirby
Oh
eats
game.
no,
people and then spits them out into bubbles.
yeah, you're thinking like 90s. We're talking 80s
All
here.
right, all right, all right. We're way back. All right, way back. Now, someone, Big Red, mentioned in the chat one that's always good for a little trip down memory lane is that Paper Boy on the
Oh,
original
hell yeah.
NES. Remember, like, you'd have to drive down or ride your bike down that street, toss
Yeah.
newspapers, and then the dogs would come and try to, like, attack you from behind, and you have to.
Oh yeah. You had to
And
watch out for the sewers and you're fucking steady throwing fucking newspapers through the people's windows and like just racking up points and you gotta watch out for dogs and the
Yep.
whole shit.
Oh
Hey,
I
man.
forgot
Now
about
we're
Paperboy.
now we're taking a trip down memory lane. That
video
game is my
games
shit.
were really cool back in
Yeah.
those days when it was like you couldn't save. It was just like, I don't know. It was a different vibe. That's all.
People used to call me the Paperboy.
Yeah, is that a story you want to share, or
Oh
you don't have to.
no, 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 no. I was just delivering newspapers. That is
Uh,
yep. Had a newspaper job.
hey,
So a little bit before the show, we were talking about autoflowers, right? And you kind of perked right up, and you had mentioned that a pretty cool story about like how you went on this massive hunt after growing out an auto. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, why don't you tell us a little about that? It's a pretty cool
All
story.
right. So, like I was talking about earlier, I'd spend hours in the middle of the night, like ordering all these seeds and all this stuff, and I get all these freebie seeds, and I really didn't even know what an autoflower even meant. So I looked it up, read about it, and I'm like, shit, I can flower stuff in my veg, and it takes 65 days. Like, let's ride. So they were free, right? So I pop them. This one in particular was like this strawberry grape dumpster funk, just so beautiful and so greasy. And so I was super excited, but I was super heartbroken at the same time because you can't clone an autoflower. I was like, fuck, like, how do I recapture this? Right. So then I looked at what lowrider number 7 was, and the mom to that was Afghan Kush. So I was like, well, shit. So late night, 4 in the morning, I'm like, Afghan Kush, I'm coming for you. And so, I looked at a lot of different seed banks, a lot of different distributors, and I landed on World of Seeds. I got a bunch of Afghan seeds. I grew them out, and I found one that was like almost identical, like replica of the autoflower, the lowrider. And I was so stoked. I was like, hell yeah, got one. You know what I mean? Like this thing was just like the most beautiful structured plant, just terp filled loveliness of just like grape fueled dumpster funk. Like it's hard to describe, but it's really loud. You
You
know,
like that, and that was a lowrider? Because I've heard nothing but bad things about
Well,
lowrider.
lowrider number 7. I mean, it's definitely
oh
Okay,
progressive.
no,
so
And
it's
oh no, 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 no! Don't get me wrong. The autoflower situation was a complete train wreck. The point of this is that I smelled something that I never smelled before to intrigue me to find out how this came to happen, right? So that's when I went on the search for the Afghan, and that's when I hunted them, found them, isolated one, and that's the mom to ghee butter, undercover butter, um, the ghee butter times moose cookies, which doesn't have a name yet. They're just very special. Um,
cool, man. You went right to the source, you
well, you got to figure this stuff out. If you smell something and you see something, you got to look into this stuff, especially if it's one and done.
autos especially. Both,
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. You saw, you immediately saw the value in autos as like just a grower. Like you can flower them in veg, simple as that. Like it's,
Oh, well, they
I
have a
mean,
bunch of value because, okay, take somebody like myself. I don't know where you live, but I live, in the Midwest, and our growing seasons are, you never know what's going to happen.
short. You mean outdoor, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and also, when people are going to be flying around looking for shit. You know that time of year, right? So the beauty of autoflowers is fucking send it. Like I could go Johnny Appleseed a bunch of just spaces and harvest twice before they even put copters in the air.
It takes 65. You got 65 days to catch me, motherfuckers.
That's value. They're not even looking for you, and you already done harvested, dried, sold the shit.
It's, I
Just
like
saying.
it. I like it. No, you know, it's cool, man. It's cool. You're open-minded dude. I like that. And I mean, the auto flowers have just come. The ones we got today are like, if lowrider number 7 was like the 7th iteration of the lowrider and was pretty good at that point. I mean, we're on like lowrider 1236.
Well,
At the,
right. And so Lowrider 7 gives you an idea how long ago that was. That was
yeah,
12 years. That was like 12 years ago.
shit.
have you
Yeah.
grown any? Have you grown any recent autos, or have you dabbled with them like ever since then, or have any thoughts about turning anything of yours into an auto?
Um, we have to be careful. So
You're not going to offend anyone. I'm just
no, it's not an
saying.
offending. It's not
Question,
an
yeah.
offending thing. It's not an offending thing.
Ah,
No, we have not run any autos inside. Um, and I'm not exactly sure how to work with that gear.
Yeah,
Where
it's a whole nother
I
fucking
don't, I
level.
don't know what happens. Like I told you before, I'm completely honest. I don't know shit. So I don't know what happens if I were to introduce that ruderalis trait to, say any of my females, right? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that means, you know, we're pulling like what does that mix look like? And do I have
yeah.
to keep
Well,
taking that down and like making specific like selections in order to keep that
Yes,
going, you know?
basically. And like it takes 3 generations, if I recall correctly. I was just thinking about this the other day because I was trying to explain it to someone. I forget it myself. We did a show at one point, and I remember showing the seed pack that I got that had like the Punnett squares on it that shows, the conversion process. And it's like the first generation of, like, let's say you crossed what you have right now, one of your, like, the ghee butter, right?
Yeah.
You cross that into like just some, breeder called Night Owl has a couple strains. Let's say you picked like the Marathon OG.
Oh
Cross
yeah, that's a good one to pick.
cool, like, it is a photo period bred into an auto, but it's got that auto trait in it. Let's say you hit that with your ghee butter. The first generation of seeds then would, I don't think they would be autoflower like at all. Like if I recall correctly, it would only be, you would be looking for like early flowering phenos.
Yeah, you wouldn't
to-
see that until F2s.
Yeah, correct. And it's like, then again, you would like take the early flowering phenos, assume they had some of that auto flowering trait in them then, and then hit them again with the auto flower. The F2, I think it was like, I don't know, 25% or something like that of the resulting phenos would be, yeah, again, I
Mhm.
don't
Okay, so
remember, but it's something
yes,
like that.
Physically, yeah. So
as an example, like Dr. Freak and I hit his berry freak with my garlic icing. It's called uh M1 garlic berry, okay? Or M1 icing berry. I don't know. He named it, but either way, the first generation is not going to show any of those pinnate traits. But when we F2 it, you're about to get like one of the most beautiful funky plants, but with fern leaves. But that shit's not gonna come out until the second generation, maybe even the third. We'll see how that works. But you know, that first generation is tricky. That's my favorite one, you know. I mean, you pull stuff out of all sorts of like lineages and things, and I don't
Heard a
know.
lot of breeders say that now, that the F2 is their favorite.
Yeah,
that's
well
not the
the F2
crazy is.
Yeah,
what's
well,
that?
that's where all the fun is. That's like where you get like grandparent traits and great grandparent traits coming out, just saying what's up.
You guys ever heard of white truffle?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
guys heard of that one?
I have. That's like
AKA gorilla butter or something like that.
the bee leaf, I think he has like is that the one I'm thinking of?
Uh-huh.
Am I correct? All right.
So that plant comes from the F2. It's just
Oh,
yeah. It's actually gorilla butter F2. And
interesting.
it got named white truffle, but it's really gorilla butter, but that's second generation.
It's like if
And
you really want to find that special, like unicorn, it's again, it's you have to like be willing to accept instability inherently with the genius. It's like you got to work for it, and yeah, the F2 is like just
dude, that's
it's
a crapshoot. It could go
grab
anywhere.
bag.
People are like, "Oh, F1's like there's so much to look at." Yeah, we ever popped F2s before cuz it like triples. And that's the whole point of selection and bringing it back and isolating things, right? So F2 is where it just gets kind of like that's where you got to be on point.
It's that's where the real money's made, right? You got to make
Yeah,
your
well, yeah, and
cues wisely.
I don't think we would ever use an F2 dad. We would use an F3 dad or an F1 dad, and they're not even really F1s or F3s. I mean, shit, we're popping seeds that somebody else made. Like these things don't just fall out of the sky. Like,
I mean, there, you're exactly right. There is a
so who
long
knows
line.
where we're really at, right? All we're
It,
trying to do is pass along something that we think is genuine, beautiful, and make sense for people's families, their tables, their livelihoods, their gardens, and just overall their whole life, right? That's the goal.
I'll
That's
take
what
a
we're
bong
trying
hit to
to do.
that.
Amen to that. I mean,
Truth is, I take a bong hit to anything. But
now,
I feel like I need to smoke some weed now.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
please
been
do.
been a while since you did. I mean,
We were
You saw
promised a
what
funny
happened
story
last
about a
time.
dragon.
oh,
Were we
whatever.
not?
yeah,
Oh
where did
yeah, yeah.
I don't
Oh,
if I can ask,
oh, you want to
where
hear about the dragon?
I
where'd he go?
do.
This is a
I've been
fucked up
waiting for
story.
this story for like an hour and a half.
Where did he go?
Oh,
There
it's a
he
baby.
is.
It's just a baby.
All right. So this little feller here.
A bearded dragon.
Yep.
Nice.
So his name is Nougat. The reason I know him or got him is through a previous business adventure with somebody who owns a brewery here in town, and her sister had Nougat, and they felt bad, and I didn't understand this at first, but they felt bad because they would have to leave town because their kids play hockey and all this shit, and they're like, we feel so bad for the lizard, and I'm like, fuck does that even mean? Like, I didn't get it, right? And so Tina was like, hey, do you want to adopt this? Do you want to adopt Nougat? And I'm like, sure, let's ride, right? So he took a journey across the United States and now he's here. But before that, he was out in the front yard one day in Wisconsin and somebody stole him.
What?
And so the owners called PetSmart and were like, hey, if somebody comes in there looking for bearded dragon shit, call the cops because that's our lizard. Sure enough, somebody comes in there buying all the shit. So the cops show up, right?
Lizard larceny.
Yep. So the one cop grabs Nougat, puts him on his lap. So Nougat takes a cop ride back to his house, and so that's kind of how that part went. And so at any rate, so then I
So
got him.
a reptile robbery.
He's
Oh
got so
yeah,
much
well
street cred.
it gets better. So now I adopt him, I have him, he's awesome. Now I understand that he has a personality and he really loves people, and he's so sweet. He's awesome. He's just great, right? So now we have this relationship. I get it. I understand. So whenever it's hot out in the summertime, I try to let him out in the yard so that he can like soak up that hot sunshine, right? Well, I turn my back for like 5 minutes, go back outside, and he's gone. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh shit, man. Like, so I start looking for a lizard in northern Michigan, pretty much in the woods. And I'm like really concerned, right?
You like call him by his name, like here, Nougat, here, boy, come here.
Oh, the weird thing is I don't know that he would actually know what that means. But if he heard his name, he was definitely paying attention. Um, so anyways,
Believe it.
so I call all my homies. I'm like, yo, New gets on the loose. We got a problem. So I get the homies over here. We start combing the whole street, knocking on everybody's doors. People are like, what the fuck are you knocking on my door about a lizard for? Like we saw it all. We got it.
Part of the family.
Yeah, we got it all. So it was at the very end when I pretty much given up hope. I get to the top of the hill and there's this like 85-year-old dude and like a probably 80 to 90-year-old woman sitting on a bench. And they see me and my buddy. My buddy's got dreads hanging out of the door, out of the passenger side window, and I'm got my head out and shit. And they're like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And I was like, "A lizard." And they're like, "The beta bus driver stole him." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" So
Steal
the
this lizard.
so the public transportation lady saw him in the front yard, stopped, took him,
Grabbed him.
put him in the bus, and just rolled out. And
What was
then
that, like,
so when
roll
I
out?
so yeah, so when I figured this out, I called the beta bus station. I was like, "Hey, you guys have my lizard?" And they're like, "Oh, you're talking about the bearded dragon?" I'm like, "Yeah, my lizard. Like, do you think like if it was a cat or a dog, would you just stop and take it?" Um, so anyways,
I mean,
so
Did you get an
wait, so
apology?
wait. No, this is where it gets juicy. So they they're caught. She's caught. The bus driver is fucking caught, right? She won't fork him over. She goes, "You obviously don't care about him. He's better off with me than you." The
what?
the first and only time I've ever called the police was because of a lizard.
Ow.
I was like, "Yo, this lady won't give me my lizard back, and she has it. Like, I know she has it, you know?"
Gotta gotta have
And so
someone come
oh,
administer
oh,
the
so I talked
arbitrate,
to the
you know?
cop, right? And I wasn't expecting this part. I was like, "Yeah, man, somebody stole my fucking lizard." He's like, "Alright, what's your address? I'll be right there." And I'm like,
Mm, yeah, do I say my address?
"Dude, you've never seen bags of weed and bulls fly so fast in one direction in your life." I'm like, "Shit."
Uh,
So he never came over, but dude, he had to contact this woman like 5 times. She refused to give him back. And then we finally got to go down and pick him up. And he's in a box. And they already renamed him. Like,
So he took the beta ride in.
yeah, so he took a cop ride, a beta ride, all sorts of rides. Like,
he had quite an adventure. Holy shit.
dude,
Most
he's ride or die,
popular
dog.
lizard.
Yeah, that's
Fuck yeah.
cool, man. I mean, what a cool pet. You know, I guess I don't know. It sounds like the person who stole him just wanted a cool lizard pet, but like not every day you see a bearded dragon hanging out in someone's front yard either, right?
Yeah.
No, and for those of you who don't know, bearded dragons in particular, as compared to other reptiles, they actually have a lot of personality, and they're almost like a lizard dog, like kind of
Kinda.
like that. Yeah,
Cool, man.
It's
They're great.
real. I never understood it. And then when I got him, I was like, this is different.
So it
Like, you can
was
get a
like
bearded dragon leash.
yeah,
You
yeah.
like the
can,
I've seen
yeah.
people walking their
person
bearded dragons.
who got rid of him was right all along. They were like, I feel bad going away all the time. I feel bad for the lizard. Now it's like it makes sense, right? They're like they need companionship and they appreciate love. Is that what
Yeah,
you're telling me?
exactly.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. I
So
mean,
then I started going back and forth from Maine to Michigan and back to Maine and Michigan and then the Keys and then California and then all over the fucking place. And it got to the point where I was in the same position as them and I was like, Rachel, will you please take over? I'll pay child support or lizard support.
I have a nougat.
Oh,
And this is my dog Jack, and they're like best friends.
Oh, they're best
oh,
buddies.
what a cutie pie. Hi, Jack.
They're super cute. I love them.
a
So Jack
little
makes, Jack makes sure that nothing happens to Nougat.
little
So
terrier.
Oh, I like
Love
it.
there's actually an Instagram page if you want to see it.
Of
Jack
yours?
Nougat.
How is that even a question?
It wasn't. I think I just said it.
There's some cute pics. There's only like 5. but they're too cute. A dog and a lizard.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fucking odd couple
Yes,
for
we'd like
sure.
to see them for
Yeah.
sure.
It's like you can make like there's a cartoon based around that, the adventures of
Jack and
Jack and Nougat.
Jack and
Yeah, it's
Nougat.
like
So when could you ever picture like a dog not trying to eat a lizard and a lizard not trying to run for its life from the dog?
I guess when like they're about the same size.
Right.
Logically,
Yeah.
it works.
Because they're like that's a big lizard, and then that's like a pretty tiny dog, you know. So that's cool, man.
They love the
That's cool.
shit out of each other. It's so
That's
awesome.
great.
Like
You gotta get on come in our Discord, post some of those pictures in the
Yeah, we have
we
a
love
animal lovers
Yep.
room. Yep. So you can go post pictures of Nougat and what's the dog's name? Jack. That's a cool name for
Jack.
yeah.
So
An
we
old friend
named
of my mother's.
we named a
dog named
strain
Jack.
after we named a strain after him.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
Oh, I love
Buddha
that.
fart. Because he's
What, he
as
farts a
sweet
lot?
as Buddha's fart. I mean, think about how good it would smell if Buddha farted.
I never
I
thought of it.
mean, honestly, like
Food to
Oh,
eat.
he's so sweet.
honestly, it depends on what he had for dinner and like
Well, no matter what, it would be peaceful and it would probably smell really good. So there's a headband peanut butter breath that's called
Yeah.
Peanut Head.
I'm gonna
And then
disagree. I think Buddha's farts would stink just as bad as my farts, dude.
Like
just-
a lotus flower.
They just might be a little more peaceful, like you said. But I mean, they're silent but violent, man.
well, that's between you and Buddha, dog. I'll let you guys fart
That's a
it
good
out.
strain name, Buddha farts. I like it.
So
like
Buddha fart, but then there's also another strain called Peanut Head because we call him a little peanut. Because look at him, he looks like a little peanut.
He kind of does. And it's it's a rip on the peanut butter breath. Hey, Jack,
Exactly,
what's up, man?
dude. Naming strains is an art.
Yeah, I mean that can make or break a fucking cross, right? You know, like
Yeah,
somebody
just
doesn't
like Captain Icing. People are like, "Oh, I don't want that because the name sucks." It's like, "Oh, well, then you actually don't even know what you're doing."
How does that name suck? That sounds like a cool name.
That's what I thought, dude.
I met
The
Captain
world-
Icing at I met him down at the Captain Academy back when we were
It was what,
in
1
our,
year ahead of
in our
you?
younger days. Yeah, he was he was always nice to me, but we weren't in the same classes, but I think I knew him. No, no, why do people think that name sucks? It's cool.
Dude, if you could give me an answer,
If you don't
I'm
like the
all
name,
ears,
just
man.
make sure
You know, it's not cool. It's not a candy or like hip
Icing is
hop or
it's candy,
Icing?
right? That's
That's
like
in the same
just
realm.
pure
it's
sugar,
crunch berry.
man.
It's crunch berries. Captain, fucking come on, man.
I mean, I got a chance to smoke some of it.
Garlic icing. What
that-
else would you call it?
BGG, Big Green Guy, grew out some of it and gave me some flour, and I really enjoyed it. He went on a nice pheno hunting. Big shout out actually to BGG. We kind of glazed over this and talk about it. Motherfucker won a trip to the Emerald Cup and can take Gromy, so he's decided to take me. So we're going to the Emerald Cup. Actually
No
leaving.
way!
Yeah, we're leaving in a couple days.
Huge congrats to you
What?
both.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
badass.
It all
That's
happened so
insane.
fast. You know what I mean? So shout out to Dino Myco for sponsoring the whole thing.
And in-house
Wow.
genetics.
Yeah, in-house is also involved. So
Really? Wow,
yeah.
man.
Did you not live broadcast from that like the whole
we're
time?
gonna try, but like kind of like the debauchery and everything. You know, I mean, I expect to be fully medicated and lubricated. No, but I'm definitely gonna be capturing
Medicated
some
and
footage.
lubricated.
Yeah.
What do you got planned out there, man?
You don't want to know.
everything.
I saw a big batch of brownies getting made. It looked
Yeah,
good.
those look scary because the
Boy.
last time I had a brownie, I had to call my wife to come pick me up. So, where I'm hoping
Edibles
to,
can do that, man.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's cool, dude. I mean, it's out in the
Santa Rosa.
California.
Yeah, not the warm part of California. So people are like, don't be jealous there. It's actually colder there right now than it is in Massachusetts.
No shit.
Mm,
No shit.
Why? Because you're up elevation or what?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's just northern Cali, Santa Rosa, like San Francisco area, like up by. So, hey, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a freaking blast. I'm not looking
Hell
forward to
yeah.
the flight. It's a 7-hour flight.
Owie, one like
Dude,
straight through?
Yeah, direct.
eat
No
like
layover.
three of those brownies, you'd be fucking
Negative
Walk
Ghost
as
Rider.
much
That's
as
the
you
what I'm
can.
gonna tell you one thing right now. Eating edibles and flying doesn't usually work out too well. One for a couple of reasons. I don't know about you, but when I eat them, I get really bad dry mouth. Like,
yeah.
and
Just be
that's
like,
a recipe for getting up and going to the bathroom 1,000 times.
I'm sorry, attendant, can I please have another Sprite? It's like, you've had 4 already. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what happened to me last time. So
Yeah, it's the
no,
problem. You wake up high as fuck and you need food stat and you need more drinks than they understand why you need, like right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna take a little bit of edibles because I mean,
Yeah, you just have to monitor it.
yeah, just a little bit, just enough, you know what I mean? And I'll probably, snooze out on the flight and snore and piss everybody off. So,
Who cares? You don't have to listen to yourself.
oh, I
So
don't give a two flying fucks, dude. Trust me.
exactly. No pun intended, right?
Yeah, exactly. No pun intended.
No
But I ran
flying.
out of fucks to give about 5 years ago. So,
Funny, we were okay, so you and BGG and then
yep.
a couple other guys, you're hanging out at Dino Myco's booth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be hanging out there for a little while.
All right.
Yeah, come check us out.
Are there any booth babes, or are you the booth babes?
Dude, I'm the fucking booth babe, motherfucker.
That's nice, man.
No,
That's
no. Come check us out.
Low budget
Come
fucking
down.
booth babe. No, I'm playing.
Come down. Meet Ari. There's gonna be some samples. Some swag. So fucking come on down. It should be a fucking great time. I've never been to the Emerald Cup, and I hear it's like the cup of all cups. So
Not
You're gonna take some swag with you.
There's gonna
some
be
swag.
Swag.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
mean swag,
It
not
definitely won't be no fucking swag there.
swag.
That's for damn sure.
Nuclear or nuclear?
It's nuclear. Right? No, I'm playing.
Nuclear.
It's nuclear. Nuclear.
Nice.
Did I
just
even
thought
say
I'd
nuclear?
I just thought I'd throw a wrench in there real quick to see what happened.
If I believed my former president George W. Bush, it was nuclear. Nuke.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, man. No, I mean, so I got to ask you, what is? I mean, I know it's like picking your favorite child, dude, but like,
Oh, you're gonna ask me the
I
question.
have to ask
He
you.
is.
What
Ask
is
it,
your
ask it.
what's your most like? Dude, there was a fire, a horrible, tragic fire in your stable. You can only run in to grab one. You only have time to grab one.
Yep,
I mean,
I
what
got
do you
it.
do? What's the
Are you
one that you take?
Are you asking me? You're asking me the question. It's electric peanut butter cookie, hands down, all day, every day. Like I will run through burning fires to make sure that it doesn't go away
I
ever.
like it. I like it.
Okay. That is
Electric
high
peanut
praise.
butter cookie. I mean, and that's it just sounds like it has everything in it. So
It's electric lemon
yeah.
GG4,
Yeah.
peanut butter breath, and Girl Scout cookie out of Burners Camp.
All right. I'm
And
sold.
the Girl Scout cookie is the mother, and she doesn't like to get pregnant. So like I pollinated like I shouldn't say I pollinated her. She got pollinated like in a heavy dose, but she just It's not her thing. Not all plants like just like pump
Yeah, I
out
don't.
seeds, you know.
Yeah, some aren't as fertile as others.
Yeah, correct. And that could be, you know, at fault of the male side too. But either way, so there wasn't a whole lot of that stock there. I think there was 149 seeds. I mean, that was like 6 years ago, but I'm pretty sure it was 149 seeds. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh shit, these are real special because she doesn't like getting knocked up, and there's a small section. And uh, man, the number two, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. It's kind of a pain in the ass to grow.
God, wait, you're like telling me that you force breeding on females? It's like a handmaiden's tale of plants. Sounds
Oh,
sounds horrible. What an awful thing that
What now?
happens.
How do you
What
know
did
that
I
he
do?
doesn't ask for consent?
What did I do?
what? That's not
No,
real dark.
he's just fucking
I'm
with
just
you.
He's
playing.
just
I'm just
messing.
playing. I'm just
Oh,
making a
if you're
some.
trying to go, if you're trying to take the cut like the gutter side of things, I got some nasty bitches. They like it rough, and like they love to be smacked around, tossed around, slapped,
Wait,
rubbed on.
which ones are those, if you don't mind me asking?
All of them.
It's just for a friend. Not me personally, but a friend might want to know which of those girls,
Asking for a friend.
which ones like it like that again? Do
All
they have
of
an
them.
OnlyFans?
They're all trained that way. Why do you think that when you grow them in your garden, they go ape shit? Because they're fucking ready to ride, baby. Let's go.
That's
Oh
cool. I
yeah.
Man,
like that. You should say that should be your motto, man. Fresh Coast Seeds, ready to ride. I like it. It's got a little ring to it.
it does. You're
It's
not
got a
lying.
little
I kind
ring
of like
to it,
that.
man. But
I would normally shoot something like that down immediately, but I kind of like it.
I'm worried
it's
about
just
you rising any nerves on anything.
Let's ride.
let's
So,
ride.
but
Uh,
yeah, so electric peanut butter cookie for
electric
sure.
peanut butter cookies. But I mean, dude, it's like I browsed the catalog. You know, they all look fire as fuck, and it's you know, well
The other
done,
one,
well done.
the other one's Gorilla Puff.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Gorilla Puff is
I
like,
like it. I like the
oh,
name.
it's the loudest shit you've ever smelled in your life. And it's really cool because it goes from this real lemon, not like candy lemon or a sugary lemon, but like a real inside of a lemon peel when you first crack it open, and like maybe some of those things hit you in the face when you crack it open, like those little moisture molecules, like that kind of lemon. And then all of a sudden in week 9, it goes from that to, oh, let's crack open a ruby red grapefruit. And so that's why I call it the Paloma cut. But it's this loud ass grapefruit lemon just powerhouse. It only tests to 18%, but I would dare anybody to smoke a whole one of the face. I'll put like money on it.
I
Like
love
for
it that you
One
said
of
that, dude, because
those.
I've said it before, man. It's not THC percentage. That's
no. People are getting cheated thinking that shit.
yeah.
Mm.
It's a shame.
I got a gorilla candy or had a gorilla candy that before I got it tested, and the whole posse smoked this shit, and like there was like a 15-minute window where you got to be like a human and then you passed out, right? And I was like, oh, this thing is definitely upper 20s. Well, once again, I got proved that none of that shit matters. I get the test result back and it's 12%,
Shit.
and it's lethal.
Right.
It's
Well, yeah,
lethal.
what was it? Like, did you see
It was
something in
gorilla
the
candies.
test that was like that you could pinpoint and be like, well, it's 12% THC, but it's
Yeah,
got a little
so
bit of
it had
this, and
it had
that's
a
got to
higher
be it.
yeah, it had a higher CBGA. So that one was like 2.54% CBGA. And I think that that's
EG.
where like that whole just like you're getting put down, and it's not like you're getting put down, but it's just
Mm.
relaxing. I think that that's that like
Maybe it's like to bring it a little bit around to like the the cannabinoid receptors. You know, like there's certain ones that like get turned on or opened up by like THC, right? And there's probably some other ones that are wired to only CBN or CBG or CBD or one of the other obscure cannabinoids would unlock those receptors. And just like once you introduce those into the mix, it's just like, you know, the meme of like, you know, the galaxy brain, like you're just like now you're in like a transcendence mode, you know what I mean? Your mind is fully expanded. No, I don't know, it's just interesting to think about. Entourage effect. It's not all THC.
Oh,
Right.
CBN, CBG, different cannabinoids, and then there's other like cannabinoids that we have no fucking idea about, right? Like the ones that
Yeah.
really aren't, you know, studied or on paper or whatever. And the terpenes, like there's so much to it. There really is so much to it.
You'll find
And,
out
and
soon
and that
enough.
well, that's the beauty of, you know, like what's going on out east is like, you know, we have the opportunity to like go through a ton of seeds on a big scale and then look at them deeper through the lab and do all these things, you know, like pheno-hunting is so important because we might run across something that looks like shit, has terrible structure, but that's why it's important to find a way to be able to look into every single plant that you pop and find out what it is. That's what breeding is. So it might not be what you want it to be, but it has this really specific trait to it that you're going to try and bring into the mix or pass it along, you know? And they make it really difficult just because COAs are so fucking expensive, you know? You know, like go get 11,000 fucking females tested. That shit's
Believe
tough,
that,
you
yeah.
know?
Holy shit.
Yikes.
Believe that.
Yeah.
Well,
So we've been going here for quite some time. I
Mhm.
I do
Alright,
kind of
cool.
feel like it's probably time to wrap this show up.
let's say our goodbyes. No, hey, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man. Really, I've
Well, tell
learned
everybody
a lot.
where we can find you, man, and like your Instagram. I know you got like 5 different IG accounts to try to keep yourself diversified in case one gets fucking pepe'd
No,
from
no. I'm just down to one. So it's
down the
Freshco
one.
Seed. Yeah, so it's Freshco Seedco _3.
Hmm.
And it's super shadow banned. So if you don't type it all the way in, you won't find it or see it.
Yeah.
Hear that?
So if you find it and you type it all in, you know you won. But all the other stuff that's going to get brought up before you get there, don't even go there. Those are scammers, and you know that's a whole other problem. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. This has
And
been super
so
fun.
you have a site, you know, people can go and order seeds direct from you, or would they find them at a seed bank? If so,
So
which would you direct them to?
well, I work with multiple vendors. So I have Vegan's Beans, I have Dark Star, I have Neptune, I have Big Mike, I have Terpy Seeds, I have Deeply Rooted, I have Seeds of Love, I have Pack Bandits.
So they're out there at, like, you know,
Yeah,
all
there's
the
a seed bank
reputable.
in South Africa. There's one in Syria. I'm forgetting their names, but yeah, the whole UK, all Europe, like it's all available. It's just you know, through those people, especially like in the UK and like Europe and that whole region. That's all Terpy. So he has, you know, his oops, he has that whole market unlocked, and you know they love this stuff over there because it's all real hashy. You know, some of it's not like super loud, but it's real hashy. Anyways, I'll talk your ear off if you
We
don't
had a
kick me out of
oh,
here.
we had a whole episode last week about those hashy strains, you know, the dumpers, as they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I no, it's, you know, there's the breeding world is so, you know, I think you have to find. I mean, I'm not a breeder, but looking at it from the outside, I feel like the people that do the best. The people that make a name for themselves are the ones that kind of like know how to find their niche and like really bring out certain traits. Like you can't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. I'm getting it wrong. You know what I mean? You got to like really dial in your breed and get specific about a certain trait that you want to bring out, and that'll show, and people that want that trait will look for it. And yeah, I would encourage everyone out there to check out Fresh Coast. You're a real cool dude, man. We appreciate chilling with you. And
yeah, we got some Christmas stuff going on, so keep your eye out for that. I'm trying to like do some new cool stuff with drops with, posters and customized stuff and, new fun things. So, green packs are back, baby.
Mhm.
Be on the
what's
lookout.
up? That's what's up. And
Yep.
yeah, thanks for sharing Jack and Nougat with us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're all big animal lovers here, man.
Yeah, seriously, come chill on the Discord, and that's for all you guys listening out there too. It's a big open invitation. The Discord is just a great community for everyone to get together. It's a place kind of safe from the ban hammers of Instagram and other
other guys,
social media. Yeah, the other guys. I mean, shit, man. They banned Autopotamus from Instagram. Did you see this shit?
Did they really?
They did. His account is gone. He has a new one. I was just talking to him before the show. Maybe just maybe I play my cards right. We might have him on as a future guest. But in any case, guys, come join us on Discord. Check out our Patreon. That's how we keep the show going. That's how we pay the bills. And we want to thank all the Patreons. And guys, I know you're getting those pink mailers out there now at this point. Some of you I've seen them.
Yeah, we posted about them. Thank you for your support, guys.
I want to see the posts. I want to see the posts. You got your captain's doubloons and your Alabrije seeds and unsuspecting pink mailer. I mean, who would ever pin it on a pink mailer, right? But
Subterfuge at its finest.
Right. Thank you guys. We appreciate your support. Seriously, there'll be more, and yeah.
If you guys are listening live tonight, the 7th, it is a full moon this evening. So if moon water is your jam, rock on with your bad self.
Put your moon water out.
The full moon.
That's a good point. Now, what if it's below freezing outside? What do you do then?
Anywhere that the moon's rays can hit it is fine. So windowsills inside are perfectly okay.
We got that on lock.
Now, what if I want more moon rays? I put it outside. It's below freezing. Can I use hand warmers or my own body heat?
Yeah, you can.
Keep it warm.
Wrap it in a towel to keep it warm. I mean, just keep in mind that if it is below freezing and it's in a glass container, those containers can shatter. So safety first.
Now I have a vision of Captain sleeping outside on the porch, hugging, snuggling with some moon water.
Moon water in one hand, a stamp ball in the other.
The fuck.
Ross,
thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah,
guys, unreal.
No, for real, it was so nice meeting all of you, and thank you so much for hanging out and chilling and shooting the shit. I appreciate it, and I'm very grateful for all of you, and thank you for this.
Likewise.
This was great. This was fun.
Likewise, man. Goes both ways. You're more than welcome to come on again.
Yeah,
you guys keep up what you're doing, and I'll promote you and let people know because this is fake. This is great. Like, who doesn't want to do this?
I'm saying.
Who doesn't? I know. It's just we try to be real.
Voice outside of Instagram too is perfect.
It's a real community of people out there. There's we're people beyond the growers. I think that's a thing. A lot of people are kind of like trying to get in. I know, one of the things at first, big stepping stone for all of us was like sharing our grows. I mean, we never did that.
That was the scariest shit ever.
right?
I
And it
was
was
like,
like,
do I press send? Do I not press send? Do
yeah,
I post? Do I say add post? Do it this? Like, do I or don't I? You
and
know, like I'll never forget that moment, you know, and now it's just like fucking send it. Worst thing that can happen now is they're just gonna take it away.
all right, they might just
Like,
ban you if they want, but like, I mean,
right.
it's hard enough taking that first step, man, into the uncharted waters. But now it's like, we're showing like a little bit of personality behind the grow and stuff like that too. I think that connects with people a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, just hey,
Well, you guys got to keep this rolling because that's what this is all about. You know, it's important. So the more that I can help, and you guys can just be doing what you're doing and exposing, these real situations, these real conversations, these real life situations, like it only benefits the community, and
Oh, absolutely, man.
Mhm.
that's
right
all we
on,
should even give a shit about. So
right.
I
Well, yeah,
love you
it's
guys. You have a good
love,
night.
You too,
Otherwise, we're
growing
Russ.
love,
gonna keep doing this.
growing love, and
Just keep
safety
talking forever.
first, and don't get
Don't
caught.
get caught.
Okay, caught.
And until next week, thanks, guys. Toodles.